Hello everybody, and of course welcome to the second game of the first semi-finals of the ESPL Weekly Series number 4. Oh my god, that's a lot of numbers, isn't it, folks? I am, of course, Briefcase, bringing you this game with my lovely and handsome co-caster, Mito. And of course, yes, let's get into it. Maybe Mito's, it sounds like Mito's mic might have been a little bit disabled, or maybe, I think if anything, he simply couldn't hear me talking. Mito, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I couldn't hear you talking.
Yeah, that's what
I can hear you.
Yeah, alright, everything's a-okay. I introduced you, you're handsome, you're good looking, I let everybody know that. And then there's just silence.
Oh, okay, wonderful. That's what I expected. Oh, well, you can't blame me. You know, I'm a bit shy.
Yeah, just a smidge, but of course anybody just tuning in, especially those of you from Dota Lounge with the, what, 6,000 plus, I think, bets that have been made on this game. ESPL Weekly Series, $100 tournament every single week. League points up on the line as well. Whatever top 6 teams have the most league points after 3 months, there's going to be a big event at the end of March there. And Speed Gaming, Sigma Gaming, going to be joining us for that as well. And hopefully it'll be a pretty good time. I think the prize pool's up to about $8,000 now, so none too bad. But talked long enough about the ESPL and obviously all the numbers that are going on in this game. And let's actually get into the draft. Right off the bat, we see an AA pickup, and it's pretty darn clear that the Mongols love this hero. I mean, I don't think I've seen a first pickup or a first pick AA almost ever. It just hasn't happened in my experience. Mito, what do you think about it? Now, Pilgrims have taken out Invoker now, and do you think Mongols are going to run the exact same lineup, or at the very least kind of lineup? They've already obviously picked that AA already.
They don't have to. They've got plenty of options, and it's not the first time as of late that I've seen AA being first pick. I mean, you just have so much variation with this hero. You always are looking for some kind of lockdown when you want to work AA into a draft. But if not, there's another way to go. You just build on the heavy punching, chilling touch. You get heroes like Weaver. Weaver is like, it hits like a truck. I mean, just Sukuchi in and then getting those like Gemini attack because you have so much buff coming out from AA, and then he can just like kill heroes from level 2 onwards. You can pair up with Luna. You can pair up with a bunch of other heroes that can do tons of damage really quickly. I haven't seen it work with Ursa, but I'm just kind of contemplating on how that works, and I think it would be a very, very interesting duel.
No, I agree. And now it's like Pilgrims of the Holy Galactica up there on the Dire. They've realized, maybe not their mistakes, but realizing that last game, you know, we didn't have that much lockdown, and already picking up a Jakiro and Wraith King. Wraith King, obviously, he has been run as a support nowadays, so I mean, do you think there's going to be a support Wraith King? It's pretty hard to tell, obviously, this early on.
Wraith King. My team, we pick him up for his aura effect. Then you can go for heroes like Clinks, Silencer, OD. Sure, you have the orb effect, but you still gain the lifesteal, so... I know what it can potentially be paired up with. You can potentially be paired up with Drow Ranger, but I don't understand why you pick up Wraith King so early, especially when Nyx Assassin is the pull. And right away, you see Mongols picking up the hero they're very comfortable with, Nyx Assassin. Sure, I felt like the stuns from previous game could have been a lot better, but regardless, it's just such a powerful hero. You saw how the Nyx Assassin was just constantly scouting out jungles. Whenever you find someone, the AA's ulti will be coming directly, so yeah. And the mana burn's gonna completely kill the effectiveness of a Wraith King, unless he gets something like Soaring or Arcane Boots.
And I mean, not only that, I feel like Wraith King, despite how much I like Mr. Croissant Beard, kind of an odd pickup in my head as well. Like, Nyx Assassin obviously was still in the pool and can deal with him, and as we saw last game, Mongols very comfortable, very happy to get that hero. But, I mean, that Wraith King aura, one of the strongest things of that hero, it doesn't do anything when Ancient Apparition's on the field and he gets an ult off. I mean, you're not going to be able to regen through any of that. You're not going to be able to steal any life with the AA ulti on you. So it seems like a slightly odd pickup in my eyes, but I mean, I guess it's yet to be seen exactly how effective it will be and how it will be run. Could still be a carry. I'm just not too sure. Nyx Assassin, that mana burn could really be a huge issue for him pretty much throughout the entire game, I feel.
So my question is, so Wraith King, you know, if he has enough mana, he dies the first time, everyone from the enemy team within the radius will be slowed, correct?
Yep.
But what happens when you buy a Bloodstone on Wraith King and just suicide in the middle of the fight?
I'm not too sure. I mean, I guess you slow everybody and that's lovely, but I mean, Bloodstone, that's a pretty big, it's a pretty tall order for a Wraith King to really want to get. But Darkseer picked up by Pilgrims now as well. Yeah, he's good. Doesn't have too much guaranteed, you know, lockdown or what have you. I suppose they already have that in the Jakiro, but Darkseer and Jakiro, that synergy right there, pretty terrific. And with the way it looks right now, I'm not even too sure if Wraith King was picked up to provide a lot of damage or even support in these fights. To me, it seems like they're gonna send him in willy-nilly, all alone. Send him in, let him tank up, take all the damage, die, and then as soon as everybody crowds around him, or at the very least as soon as he dies, you have Darkseer running in with Surge and Jakiro waiting in the wings, and you get a big vacuum ice path on whoever you can find.
Oh yeah,
that's all I'm thinking.
Look at the combo that we said. We said Luna combos really well with AA. And I mean, Luna's Aura plus Ancient Apparition with the Chilling Touch. Ooh, whoever gets caught out at level 1 is gonna be pretty dead. Unless you're Darkseer, you can just surge away, but then if you get stunned up by a Nyx Assassin, because it seems like Mongols, they like running the Nyx as a support rather than a solo offlaner. Oh, this is looking to be aggressive trialing. Mirana, Wraith King plus Jakiro, so they can also grab another big team fight AoE OT hero for the safe lane solo. Just trying to think what comes to mind. Gyrocopter perhaps? It all depends on how Mongols draft. You don't really know the offlaner yet. But once that's given, then the lane should become pretty apparent. There are several ways as well that Mongols can run the lanes. They can run the Nyx in the safe lane, run a dual lane between Luna and AA. You're not really looking to use your skills to you're not really looking to stun up heroes with the cold feet, but just the pure right clicks coming out from these two heroes, AA will be able to zone out most of the mid solo heroes. He does stat out decent stats. If I'm not wrong, he starts out with 4 armor, decent right clicks, and yeah. But because there's not really a point running a trialing against a Darkseer, you know, it's so hard to shut him down with the surge.
Yeah, you can never really quite track him down, and you need to dedicate so many resources to actually deal with him. But of course, Clockwork, he doesn't have too bad of a time against him, obviously. And if he does get a nice cogs in, especially once Clockwork hits level 6, Darkseer can actually be in a little bit of trouble, but obviously you're going to be going up against an Ion Shell. So Clockwork, I mean, he can be that off laner. He can throw out those rockets to get those last hits, but I mean, it's still a melee versus Ion Shell. It's still a pretty damaging area to be in.
Oh, this is gonna be rough. Pilgrims, they will have the laning upper hand if they... Actually, hard to say. Wraith King, Jakiro plus Mirana versus Nyx, AA, and Luna. Huh. Sure, the triple stun coming out of Pilgrims seems really potent. But then again, Nyx Assassin... Ooh, it feels like the only target is Luna, but why they go on the Luna? They would be taking so much harassment damage from the Nyx and the AA, so be interesting. And then once Nyx gets some mana burn, starts burning Wraith King's mana, then there goes to stable lockdown.
Oh yeah, and I mean it really does just seem like, yeah, Pilgrims in that tri-lane, if they are running the Jakiro, Wraith King, Mirana kind of feel, they might be able to get a few kills early on, but you might just be going tit for tat, especially if AA skills up that Chilling Touch early, because you're going to have Nyx Assassin and AA still piling on about an extra, 150 damage each through just right clicks while you're trying to take down the Luna, and it just feels like the Mongols tri-lane, if that is the way they want to run it, I should say, it has a nice amount of, not sustain, but sustained damage, and just the Chilling Touch always being there, the Luna aura being all in line and making them all a little bit stronger, and especially once Nyx Assassin does get mana burn and just constantly targets Wraith King with it, it just feels like Pilgrims of the Holy Galactica's tri-lane is going to be falling off.
Well, It's the team fight is pretty scary if they can pull off the combo. Darkseer vacuum into Ice Path, into Silence, into Crypt Swarm, into Starfall, into Wraith King Suicide. Wow, lots of things to look forward to. But the dual roaming, pretty easy to pull off as well. Wraith King stun into a Jakiro Ice Path. Yeah, so they have a lot of potential combos. Oh, and Mongols, they whip out the Shadow Fiend. Oh, this is a hero I absolutely loved in Dota 1, not so much in Dota 2 because of the model.
You don't like Swagger Fiend?
Dude, how can you call him Swagger Fiend when he doesn't have the swag in Dota 2?
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for the hero remodel, or like hero item set, man. Where's the SF set, Valve? Volvo, please give sets. Been waiting for so long.
I mean, it'll come out. I bet you've been waiting a very long time for the Tinker set as well. And I mean, but let's get off to who's playing who this time around. I'm gonna be taking Pot Hog right now. Pilgrims. We have Paxa gonna be playing the Luna, Storm as the Nyx Assassin, Nelly going as the Ancient Apparition once again, Masquerade gonna be the Clockwork, and Sanke gonna be going as this mid Shadow Fiend, getting pooled at least one little tango there. Mito, would you like to take the Mongols, my friend?
Wait, you mean Pilgrims?
Yeah, that's what.
Pilgrims are the team.
Did I get
you flipped that around?
Oh, I flipped it, didn't I? Oh no. Oh.
Yeah, no worries. I got you covered. So on the Dire team, we have Pilgrims of the Holy Galactica. So total will be the offlaner Darkseer. At mid, we have the DP played by Lacoste. Okay, Lacoste. And we have Razy playing as a support Wraith King. Hasn't learned anything yet, holding on to his skills. At top, we have Jakiro played by Zek. And finally, we have the carry Mirana played by KMA.
KMA.
Yeah.
You're going to be calling... Okay, fair enough. Sorry, everybody, on the switcheroo of who and what team was where. It is quite early in the morning for me. But looks like we do have a little bit of KM and Zekin waiting around. If they can get a nice little arrow onto Clockwork and kind of bait it out, I mean, I'm not too sure they could actually kill him, because he does have that power cog. He's just able to get away there very quickly, but you do have Nyx Assassin picking up that invisibility, and now because of that, it looks like Lakos might want to be a little bit careful in the mid. Probably not going to be a kill by any means, but still, I mean, you need to be worrisome, or at least worried a little bit of this Nyx Assassin. It's like Razy, he does know that this ward is here waiting around, seeing if he can't de-ward it possibly, but instead puts down this little observer there, and he does have these sentries available. Not too sure, I'm pretty sure he saw this go down, but nonetheless, it looks like they are going to be trying to set something up onto Toto right now. He has only got Ion Shell, obviously. Storm, though, waiting a very long time until that Chilling Touch was used. There isn't a Lucent Beam, however. Looks like they already skilled into Lunar Blessing for that bonus damage, and, I mean, that might have actually been a first blood if they had gotten Lucent Beam.
Oh yeah, absolutely. A little bit curious as to why he learned... Well, I understand, but... I mean, sure, he wants a better last hit on the lane, it gives you plus 14 damage, but a first blood just sounds so much better. Yeah.
Oh, now it looks like Masquerade in a heap of trouble. Razy is here. They've actually got the slow already. Nice cogs to stop the arrow, but Razy always there, the arrow flies, and Masquerade, he's going to be giving up the first blood instead. So, I mean, that extra gold going the way of Mirana, and they've got to be enjoying that, not too badly. However, that first little pepper on the bot lane, out of the Mongols onto that Darkseer, they've basically scared him. He's no longer in lane. He's decided instead to just go into the jungle, get what he can from there, and I mean, I guess that's a nice result for them at the very least.
I feel the laning is a bit questionable from Pilgrims. If they go aggressive trialing, the Darkseer would have a swell time up against the Clockwork. Yeah, but perhaps they're looking to rotate mid a lot more, because when your supports are always constantly missing on the map, right, it does put a lot of mental pressure on the SF, as well as making the ganks much easier. So yeah, yeah, it is actually a very smart choice. Haven't really given thought. It's just like whenever you think about a Luna farming versus a Mirana farming, you always gotta be a little bit scared. Luna can utilize stacks so much better than a Mirana can, and it just feels like in terms of if they get the same amount of last hits, Mirana just won't be as high impact as a Luna.
Oh yeah, and I mean, like you're saying about the supports, you just have Mongols, they can't see the Pilgrim supports whatsoever right now, and as because of that Sanke, he's just hiding back here. He now does finally see them because of that clockwork flare. But, I mean, the entire time he's been in this mid lane, he just hangs around this one little area trying to be as far bottom right as humanly possible. And, I mean, he's got to be scared a little bit sometimes, especially if you're Shadow Fiend. If you get killed in the mid, you get ganked in the mid, that is a huge detriment to you. Lose a lot of your souls, a lot of that bonus damage, a lot of basically what you bring to the mid, and just having way better last hitting potential just goes away when that happens.
Yeah, Clockwork should have used his rocket to block out the pull cam a lot more. He might not know the timing, but it's around 27 seconds of like... or like a 3 second before the cam is gonna spawn from this area at least. Right here, somewhere about here. Yeah, and being able to block the pull camp, and then he himself can go and pull the big camp, then he would get so much more out of the lane for himself. But I love what the Mongols are doing. They're triple pulling, and look at that huge stack. They're prepared to farm the Luna. They're prepared to like just constantly stack up for him, as well as completely denying the creeps in the off lane. But when you don't see anyone in the off lane, you gotta think about whether you want to farm up the Luna completely, or start putting pressure on the tower so the opponent team can't farm.
Oh yeah, most definitely. And now just, yeah, Clockwork, he can do his best. He can throw down rocket flares to get last hit, so he's not having too bad a time. We do have a smoke up out of Razy and Zekwin, but of course Sanke has just been hiding here and playing very nicely now. Of course, right now he's getting that little mid-tier that mid-tier camp and not doing too badly. And I mean, now obviously you can't see anybody. I'm actually surprised that Sanke is this far forward, even as it is, opting to go down this ramp, and that might be his death. Definitely will be now. Is running his very, very best, but now the ice path to guarantee it. He is slightly faster, but of course, with that Jakiro dual breath, this is going to be a guaranteed kill. And he turns around, tries to do whatever he can. Storm not quite able to get there in time, and it looks like we actually did have a smoke coming down from Nelly, probably with Storm as well. They were about to rotate themselves, but the Shadow Fiend taking the hit a little bit before this Death Prophet, so unfortunate for them. But I mean, you do have Luna free farming on the bot. They are stacking for her as well, just not the Ancient, sadly.
Well, the medium camp, I mean, the large camp is a pretty good thing to stack as well, especially before Luna gets that Helm of Dominator. You can take the medium camp with the help from a couple of supports, but if he does want to do that, he needs to start learning a little bit into the Moonglaves, so it can start bouncing around. But he's going to go for Hand of Midas, and this goes to show Mongols, they're a lot more comfortable taking the game late, having an SF farm up, having a Luna farm up, and that seems to be their ideal plan.
I mean, not a bad plan by any means, but it just feels also like when it comes down to who has really strong team fight, you just look at obviously Exorcism being there, along with Jakiro, Ice Path, Darkseer, Vacuum combo, and that in and of itself is a pretty gigantic combo to have and very, very scary. So I mean, yeah, you are farming up this Luna. Once she does get the BKB, going to be very helpful for her, but you always do have Exorcism, going to be quite good at eating them away. And now it looks like we have not an engagement, but Exorcism has been used here. Storm, though, nice stun on 2. Looks like he's going to get out of here scot-free. And Lakos actually does eat a chilling, not a chilling touch, a cold feet there, and actually does freeze, but only for just a brief moment.
If that's a game plan to take it so late, right? I'm pretty surprised SF hasn't been utilizing these two stacks, just raising out the creep wave around say 30 to 40 seconds of the game, and then just going to stack. He could have easily stacked this camp as well, just waited for about 10 more seconds, and then using the raise will be so much more efficient, taking out 2 camps in one go, and it saves you a lot of mana as well.
Well, I mean, maybe not everybody's as diligent a mid player as you, Mito, but I mean, they are stacking this large camp once again. It's getting up there in the stacks, almost too many creeps for it to actually fit there. So I mean, if the Luna wants to take this, like you're saying, she does need to get a few points in a Moonglaive, but instead it looks like they are giving it to the Shadow Fiend, trying to make sure that he doesn't fall to any scary gank. So the Shadow Fiend can obviously take this very quickly himself, and boom. And with those stacks as well, these supports are going to be loving that little bit of extra experience. Looks like Shadow Fiend now needs to wait for that raise mana to come back, and with just those few creeps doing it, I shouldn't say few, many creeps doing quite a lot of damage to him, he's now very low indeed.
Oh, but it's totally worth it. You got
Oh,
a
yeah.
huge stack. But potentially when the supports are stacking the big camp, he can stack the big camp himself as well. And there'll be multiple camps that supports can leech off. But nonetheless, it was a brilliant idea. I love it when teams utilize the full amount of resource around the map. And Luna, with the Hand of Midas, well, can look towards getting a fast hand on the Dominator and start stacking Ancients. And this is going to be like stacking everywhere on the map. And they will slowly pull ahead in terms of gold lead.
Oh yeah, I would have to say so. And I mean, that is the nice thing about their lineup in the SF, being able to stack camps, as well as the Luna being able to stack those Ancients. If they do happen to kind of fall behind, and if we look at the gold graph, it's pretty much dead even, experience a little bit in favor of the Mongols. But if they do happen to fall behind, they have these really strong comeback mechanics in their lineup right now that I think are really going to pay off for them. And I mean, they're not going to be comeback mechanics right now. They're actually going to be, I mean, lead solidifying mechanics. And if they can kind of work that around and make sure that their stacks of Ancients don't get taken out, or if they continue to actually stack these big camps for the SF, I mean, I think it's really going to work out for them in getting those 2 core heroes incredibly farmed.
It is pretty strange. 10 minutes in, neither team have been putting a lot of pressure on tier 1 towers. Both just very comfortable sitting back and farming. But I feel Pilgrims, they're the ones who need to put on the pressure. Sure, you look at Mirana, got a Hand of Midas, brilliant. Then you look at the last hit, SF has close to 80 last hits. Dude, my math is just so bad. But when you compare the farm of these kind of heroes, right, you're just looking at essentially these farm heavy games. Sure, team fights will change a lot. Sure, mid game, whoever gets the upper hand might end up leading a lot more. But if you're just looking at the pure farming potential of the two, Mongols eventually will just come out on top. And it's just the way they drafted.
Oh yeah, they definitely have the slightly, I feel like they can utilize the farm quite a bit more. Now though, looks like Zekwin being caught out in the bot lane, and of course the cast range of Lucent Beam, it always feels like you just always forget just how large it is, and of course it is just tremendous. And with that tiny mini stun, it definitely gave Storm just enough time to throw down that Impale, get a mana burn in there as well, and because of that, I mean, they get a nice kill on the bot lane for their troubles, and Paxa just continues to farm up. You do have, like you said, you have a Hand of Midas on this Mirana, so that's none too bad, but I mean, you're always going to be losing against a Luna in the Farm Fest.
Oh yeah. I mean, look at SF. 100 last hit in under 11 minutes. Woohoo! This guy, he's gonna get around a 15-minute BKB. And when he does, or even faster, but I'm guessing around 15 minutes sounds just about right. When he gets that BKB, he's no longer afraid of Pilgrim's combos. And same with the Luna. If Luna starts getting that BKB of hers, then Pilgrims, what do you have to offer in teamfights other than Corvallis' ultimate exorcism? You have nothing else to look forward to once that happens.
Oh yeah, and I mean, I'm still very interested to see what Masquerade can do with this Clockwork once he does finally hit 6. He's been level 5 for decades, it feels like. Just needs to get one more creep and he'll get that level. And I mean, even with that, Mirana, I mean, yeah, she's got some good damage going on her. She's got Hand of Midas, obviously, plus 30 attack with these phase boots going on as well, so not too bad. But Clockwork, she's just such a squishy hero that Clockwork can always pretty much find a kill, and with Storm now vendettaing up, getting right in there, if he does get a stun on this, I mean, KM might fall. All he needs to do is wait around for this hook for her to leap away, and it doesn't even look like they need to do that, and just guarantees the kill with the hook there. So, I mean, yeah, there's your big farming hero, Mirana. She's got her Midas, that's great, but now she's getting killed right now as well. Luna has literally had free farm the entire game, and looks like we'll continue to, actually.
Yeah, that's one of the big things. Once your next assassin hits level 6, you need to drop the sentry at mid, you need to have an observer ward and a sentry watching. You're going to split up and farm. Otherwise, that's what's going to happen. Next assassin, when he has Vendetta, he's just going to TP somewhere and just go in for your core heroes. Your DP is going to make it through. Your Mirana definitely didn't make it right there. They need to have better ward vision.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I guess the key right now is just to farm the DP, but I mean, competitive farm, just want to look at the gold graph and XP graph, and well, we're only 12 minutes in, it's already over 3,000 gold advantage towards Mongols, and likewise for the XP graph. So it's pretty rough.
Yeah, it definitely
And,
seems.
Luna.
Definitely seems like, oh, now Luna's taking the stack, and she has actually gotten a couple points into that Moonglaze, like you said. Instead, it looks like she might be trying to stack it herself, but not so much. But no, just pulling them to max range and doing what she can. And, I mean, there you go. She doesn't quite have enough HP, doesn't have a Helm of the Dominator, doesn't have enough Moonglaves to really take any Ancient stacks. So because of that, she's just taking these big ones. But it looks like now they do have a Dark Troll Summoner. She's going to be picking those up. She does have the Helm of the Dominator now, so let me eat my own words. Should just look at her items. But, I mean, with that, you're going to start stacking these Ancients right around when they find as many as they possibly can. She's going to have enough points in Moonglaive to take them. She needs to be really careful here, though. Pretty much guaranteed to be dead with all of those stuns going down. KM throwing out the Starstorm. So, nice little rotation coming out of Pilgrims. They're trying to stop this Luna, who has been free farming all game. And now Nelly and Sanke need to be very careful right now. You do have Storm vendettaing around, seeing if you can't find anybody, and it looks like they just need to retreat. I'm not too sure they can defend this tower right now.
They can. SF has a BKB. He's coming in as we speak.
Oh, he's got his
He's
BKB?
gonna just walk in,
yeah,
and
definitely.
no one can hit him.
There
Except
it is.
the Exorcism.
Storm, just seeing if you can't find a stun. They really do want a way to initiate on this, and of course Clockwork is the man to do it. Actually lands it onto Sanke. Oh, no, not even sure he would have found anybody with that hook, but so unfortunate. And now it just feels like, okay, I missed the hook. I'm just going to run away and be ashamed of myself.
Oh, but now Luna has joined the fray, and this is definitely the opportunity to get kills if they can catch up to any heroes. But sadly, the initiation hero missed the hook, landed on his own teammate. They'll just fall back to farm. And I'm very surprised no one has utilized the shift Q, auto stacking the ancient camp, where you just kind of pull the creep and then send it home and then send it to these two racks and then make it walk right back. That's a 1 minute cycle. And if you just shift Q, you never have to have supports helping you stacking the ancients, and you as a carry don't need to do it either.
Are you
it's
sure about that? Because right now this Troll
he's
Summoner,
doing it, right?
He's running all the way back. So for anybody who doesn't know, but oh no, never mind, he hasn't.
He's not.
I thought he had because he was running all the way back from the base. But not the case. Masquerade, he's actually got an invisibility rune in the mid, however, and Lakos needs to be very careful here. You do have Jakiro and Mirana waiting in the wings. Storm has vendettaed up, does get the nice stun there. Masquerade finally lands that little hook. Masquerade, though, in a bit of trouble, but pops his nice little blade mail there, giving a little bit of damage back to second, but it's not going to be enough. And with that, I mean, you don't have Exorcism to deal with this Shadow Fiend right now. He still has BKB, so it just feels like you can almost never fight. But nice arrow lands onto Sanke. Do they have a way to finish him off? Ray Z coming in does get a stun, but it's just not enough damage. And with the extra health coming out of this BKB, the plus 10 strength, not to mention he's got some treads going on, a Wraith Band, as well as this magic wand, you're not going to be able to kill this Shadow Fiend. He is surprisingly tanky.
Oh yeah, and they're still stacking. They're stacking the ancients, and then yeah, Luna with the 104 last hits, SF with 140 last hits. Wow, this is pretty ridiculous. 20 minute in, you're gonna start seeing like what Manta style on the SF, and wow, the more and more like they farm, they're just gonna get further and further ahead. And I would say Pilgrims, maybe they should use the Corvus ulti to steal a Roshan, or like force out some fights while they still can before the heroes just completely fall out of favor.
Oh yeah, and I mean this just goes to show you that you were right on the money with your prediction early on, where the Pilgrims, they really do need to put on the pressure, because if they're just going to go to a farm fest and not give it to Wraith King, who can obviously do quite a bit of damage, instead giving it to the Mirana, I mean, you're just not going to win that farm fest. Paxa on Luna with stacks and Moonglaves, Helm of the Dominator. They haven't even, as far as I know, they haven't even actually checked the Ancients yet to see if it has been stacking. And you're just obviously not going to win against a Shadow Fiend as well, so it seems like both teams very happy to just sit back and farm in the early game, but of course Mongols getting so much more out of it than the Pilgrims are.
Yep, and they're going for the Roshan sneak, but Clockwork has been constantly rocketing this area.
Not this time around,
this
though.
time his rocket's going top.
Yeah, uses the top, so this is going to be a nice free Roshan for them. Razy. Actually, this Wraith King, not even level 6 yet, I realize. Not terrific. AAL, though, is being used. Razy, are you going to fall here? Let's see it. Oh, baby.
80 HP.
80
80,
HP,
80.
83, 83.
Oh,
Boom!
he's gone.
Does indeed fall. Looks like Masquerade does get a nice hook in there, throwing down the cogs as well, but silence, arrowed, and everything, trying to just stop this Roshan as quick as possible. You now have a lifestealer, or I shouldn't say lifestealer, Nyx Assassin coming in, Toto trying his very best to see if he can't get some supports. Jakiro now falling as well, and it looks like they're not going to be able to find this Toto for their troubles, but another arrow flying. It looks like Storm, though, does use a nice little bit of dust on his friends. Razy finally getting in. Nelly, don't see him getting out of this one alive. But now there is that nice Eclipse being used. Razy melting as well. Of course, not quite level 6. Another AA ult being used. And with that, arrow flying, of course, just as a deterrent. And it looks like this snuck Roche going the way of the Mongols and solidifying their lead even more. SF picking up that Aegis. He is just going to be unkillable now.
Yeah, and that's the dilemma of Pilgrims lineup. They needed the early game advantage. They can't afford to play from behind, because when you try to split push and you try to farm several different lanes, you've got Nyx Assassin and Clockwork, and those two heroes can pick off any one hero on Pilgrims right now. And this is no way to get out. Sure, Mirana, you might be able to leap out of trouble. But if they initiate with the Vendetta into a stun, and then you leap, and then follow up by the hook, you're still a dead Mirana, regardless. And so here's the problem. They can't afford to split up, but at the same time, they can't win a 5-on-5 team fight anymore. It's tough. The only way they can do it is if Mongols group up as 5 and try to push a tower, then they can capitalize on the fact that they have Exorcism, and that can push really fast as well. And you just move somewhere else and try to push a different lane. That essentially is the last option, but I don't think it'll be enough. Now that BKB is going to be done on Luna as well, SF already has... Wow, he's heading towards a Daedalus, I believe. And yeah, the right click is just absurd. Minus armor plus Luna's aura plus what? Chilling touch.
Oh yeah, it is just ridiculous. And Luna, I mean, she took her ancient stack now, and that is her BKB plus a blade of alacrity right now. So I think it's about 1,000 plus gold just in that stack. So they've got to be absolutely loving that. And Sanke, this is the thing, is that whereas Pilgrims, they need to be S5, and they should be feeling pretty terrified of being alone if that's how they are on the map, just because of Nyx Assassin coupled with AA ult, or even finding yourself caught out by Luna along with an AA ult, or a Clockwork along with an AA ult. You just can't really be alone in this matchup at all. King. Now we do have a tiny AA ult, doesn't quite land on anybody, but Wraith King gonna melt here, does have enough mana to come back. It looks like Nyx Assassin not quite there. Masquerade, though, popping that as well. Pops his Blade Mail, doing whatever he can against Lakos, but the Exorcism just too strong. BKB coming down from, we do have Paxa. They do find Jakiro, and while that's happening, Storm trying his very best to find a Lakos, but it looks like the Exorcism Spirit's gonna be able to heal her back up to, I don't know about full, but it's gonna get up there. Now, Toto does evade that stun coming out of Storm. No mana burn, not quite. And it looks like, obviously, Mongols gonna get this tier 2 for their troubles. Not too bad.
And wherever SF wants to get, he has the money for it. Oh, Divine Rapier, Divine Rapier. Oh no. Disappointed. Just a simple Daedalus.
You gotta play it safe, man.
Yeah, but for the viewers, you gotta do things for the viewers. People want to see Divine Rapiers, and we shall deliver. Well, hopefully, at some point.
That is true. And I mean, it's 22 minutes in, and SF has, well, why has this little hawk not given him his Daedalus yet? There it is, finally. Come on, give it to him. There it is. Okay, Sanke, 22 minutes in, he's got his BKB, he's holding an Aegis, he's got a Daedalus. His right click is just ridiculous, and it feels like he can kill pretty much anybody. Does succumb to an Ice Path, just barely, almost gets caught out by that arrow. Always does have a BKB available if things get a little bit too hairy now, getting silenced as well. And looks like Pilgrims having a not bad chance there to actually take him out. Not going to be the case. Now Storm blinking in, guaranteeing that kill happens onto Toto. He's been so evasive early on. Jakiro now falling as well. Excuse me. Paxa getting stunned. Doesn't matter. Razy so close to falling.
Wow, them right clicks. Hey, on a unrelated note, I just want to point out the Radiant Courier, right? I see Azure Ramir, and isn't that the dragon? But why is it a hawk? But no, let's just continue with the push. Totally unrelated. Just very curious.
Arrow flies, Sankey
Oh, and
just
this
able to get
arrow.
out of there. Not the end of the world, and obviously they have a mech, and it just feels like the longer and longer this game goes, the farther and farther ahead the Mongols will get. And Mito, my friend, I'm so sorry to do this to you, but someone is literally knocking on my door frantically. So if I leave you following Paxa, please, please continue this cast. So sorry, everybody. I need to go talk to probably a building manager.
No problem. So I'll be taking lead for a bit. And guys, Mongols will be able to take the tier 2 towers, but we have a Moonlight Shadow coming out from Pilgrims, and are they gonna make the big plays they're looking for? Oh, and there's a vacuum, there's the Ice Path, they pick out 2, and Luna and Nyx is just completely dead. But I mean, once SF turns on that BKB, there's just no answer to that. And those crits coming out, wow, they're insane. So yeah, that would be a 2-for-2 exchange. Not bad coming out from Pilgrims. Just a little surprised that they don't. Mongols didn't have any sentry wards watching that, and that would be the end of that push, I suppose. But falling back, just want to look at the gold and XP graph. It's already 20,000 gold in favor of Mongols, and in terms of XP, we're looking at 15,000. Well, 14,000 to around 15,000. So SF, he's just gonna go back in the jungle and start farming up. What's gonna look like? It might be some form of HP regen, maybe a heart, maybe a satanic. Preferably a satanic, because he does depend a lot on his right clicks more than just purely tanking up. And Masquerade, he's heading towards that Aghanim Scepter. And once again, I don't know if you guys have seen Sing Sing's about a month ago played a really sick Clockwork. That's something that you guys should check out as well. Just getting that Blink Dagger for staff and an Aghanim Scepter Shivas, and he was just all over the place, hooking people and then blinking out, trapping people inside the clocks. And Sunke, he's gonna be in a lot of trouble. He got arrowed and yeah, just completely blown up by 4 heroes.
Ooh, though.
And Nyx Assassin.
Nyx Assassin, he does get out of here. AA ult onto Raising. Masquerade trying to do a little bit of work. I'll let you all know what happened as soon as this engagement ends. Looks like Masquerade pops his Blade Mail, trying to get out of here. Sequin can't quite get the Ice Path off fast enough. Paxa stunning him with that Lucent Beam. Eclipse always available, and now like Sequin, he is... I mean, can he get out of this one? Masquerade does not quite have that Ags available. Paxa, though, ooh, being silenced doesn't really matter when you get dealt that much damage. And with that, looks like the push continued. So sorry, everybody. When I came back, the screen was just waiting on where Paxa died, and I missed out quite a bit. Hope Mito kept you company and just lifted up your hearts, because, so this is what happened. I went outside. Nice person who lives in my building said, hey, look at this. And okay, so a water pipe just burst outside of my home and is now making a huge puddle and river in the hallway where I live.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Isn't it?
So are you gonna be able to swim?
I mean, almost. So during the break, I'm gonna be trying very hard to let my building manager know that his Sunday is gonna be ruined.
Wait, when you say a water pipe, you don't mean like you need to use a toilet, right? I mean, an actual water pipe.
Yeah, no, like the ceiling is oozing water as we speak right now.
So it's nothing to do with like toilets.
Oh no. So like my apartment's fine, but right outside of it is getting destroyed very, very quickly. But I, of course, am here casting for all of you lovely people, and hopefully, I don't want to say this to be mean, but hopefully this game ends fairly soon so that my whole apartment building doesn't get destroyed.
Oh, and I hear Hook.
Oh
Doesn't
yeah,
get
me
anything,
too.
though.
Looks like Sequin able to just barely get out of there with that Moonlight Shadow being used. While that's happening, you have Sankey. Looks like he's just trying to re-get those souls and farm up to a Manta so that he can aid this push and really do the slow siege if that's how they want to play it. Of course, the longer and longer this goes, the stronger and stronger Mongols going to get. Looks like they're going to be taking any stack they can possibly get their hands on, including this ancient stack. Roshan, not quite available just yet. Will be in about a minute and a half. So not too bad there by any means. Arrow flies, doesn't land on anybody, not the end of the world. And I mean, what is Pilgrims to do right now? It seems like they need to have maybe a huge wombo combo team fight if they want any chance through this. KM, he has a BKB of his own, but when you compare his damage, Mirana's damage right now, 87 plus 51, you compare that to either of the cores or the carries, it's just paltry. Paxa, though, does melt immediately. Masquerade trying his very best to get in there. Cogging, not too much, but now the damage is actually coming in from the Pilgrims. Looks like the Exorcism quite a bit. Sonke now actually does fall. A buyback from Luna coming in. It looks like they want to continue this push. Not too sure if that is a favorable outcome, however. So, I mean, there it is. Pilgrims still able to defend quite nicely.
Very questionable item choice by SF. Why do you need an SNY? You're going for the high ground push. You need items like Satanic. You need that secondary regen to pull you through. Because you're gonna get engaged upon. You're the one trying to go high ground. You gotta see that coming. And what's other? Yeah. Okay. So finally we see a gem on Ellie as well. So they won't be in trouble with the Moonlight Shadows. But SF should be just tanking up, just getting his Satanic or even Manta style. Doesn't matter, but. SNY, what does it really offer? It's about like those solo kills, you know, when you try to chase down heroes with the additional movement speed as well as the MAME effect, but regarding to pushing tier 3, it's pretty useless.
Oh yeah, it seems odd, very odd indeed, that he didn't just turn that Yasha into a Manta style. The illusions just knocking on the door, knocking on that tower. Obviously there is quite a bit of AoE coming out of the Pilgrims, but just that extra damage where you can go in, you can siege them, you can just target them directly onto that tower, that would help so much more than a Sange and Yasha ever would.
Yeah, and now this is not bad for Pilgrims. They have a very strong tower defending lineup. They have the Vacuum Wall, which was placed perfectly by Total just now. He got, I think, 4-man or 5-man vacuum into the wall, and those illusions packed a punch, definitely. Whenever you catch an S7 in those wall, you're always going to get the aura, so it's always great to have -6 armor on the enemy team as well. So, yeah. Now, back to farming. Mongols, just going to farm it up and say, yeah, this is not the right time to push. We're going to drag a little bit later, but the longer you drag the game, the more questions start to appear. Like, you start seeing... Like, if you can drag it long enough. See, Total has the Aghanim Scepter now. And next thing you know, he has a Blink Dagger, and then a Sheepstick, and a Refresher Orb, and Shivas. And, that Mana Burn just does so much damage. And almost depleting Mirana's mana pool completely.
Oh yeah, we do have a smoke now going down by Pilgrims. They are trying to bring this back, obviously, and they're going right into their jungle. They feel like those two carries are there, and if they are able to catch out both of these carries, that would be a tremendous win for them right now. Now it looks like Paxa might be running right into it, actually avoiding it ever so slightly. They might be able to find Sonke in the last seconds here. Are they going to throw an arrow, and will it land? Sonke able to just barely move out of there. It actually goes right to Nelly, who is still invisible here. And now, knowing that that is not the case, things going their way. Toto now caught out inside of some cogs. Masquerade trying to block him in with this blade mail. A nice little initiation coming out of him. Looks like we have an AA ulti going down. Doesn't land on too many. While that's happening, you have Sonke running around back along with Paxa to try and clean everything up. And now this failed gank going really badly for Pilgrims. However, this Darksteer wall with the Ags doing an immense amount of damage. Paxa obviously cannot live through his own deeps. And with that, Masquerade does finally find a kill against the Mirana as well, using that Ags to great effect. But the Darkseer Ags wall, I mean, that is a perfect item pickup right there, knowing that, yeah, SF has a huge amount of damage, yeah, Luna has an obscene amount, both of them have very strong auras as well, and if you just make illusions of them, I mean, they're kind of slightly squishy, agi heroes. They're not even that squishy, but the deeps out of those illusions is just going to be way too much for even them to handle.
Come on, Scotty SF. Thinking about it, SNY plus Scotty on SF. Legit. Ultra slow. Perma tanking abilities. Just standing in the front lines. And it stacks with lifesteal, so why not? Why not? Why not?
True. Why not? I mean, I'm slightly fearful. I have this slight fear going on in my mind that the Mongols, they're going to see, oh, you know what? The Pilgrims, they are finding ways to deal with us. They are able to stop our pushes right now. What do we really need? I think Shadow, and then they're going to go, Shadow Fiend and Luna both need a Satanic. And if that's the case, I'm just going to be, it's just, this game is going to go on for another 15 minutes.
Actually, that's not really the case. If they want to go cheesy, right, they can just go get Manta and then just use the Manta illusions to try and chip away the tower. But more than likely, the Manta Illusions will be bursted down really quick. But you do force out a lot of skills from Pilgrims. Oh, it looks like they want to go for the SF.
Oh, it looks like it could be a bait, if anything, if Storm could get a nice stun, but gets silenced right before he can blink. Some beautiful body blocks, though, guaranteeing that Masquerade gets this hit. And with that, they're going to find a nice little kill there. Razy throws out a stun, but it's not going to be enough, and now Mirana come to join the fight. Sequin as well. There is a wall, but it hasn't landed on the big wigs, the ones that you really want. Storm able to do whatever he possibly can. Paxa, though, trying to run in here, and they do find a kill on Jakiro. And with that, the rest of Pilgrim's going to have to run home, try and make sure that they don't fall. There is a buyback available on Death Prophet, and there it is right now. So she's going to be coming back into the fray. Does she have Exorcism? She does, so that should be enough of a deterrent, it would seem. This looks like the tower will fall, at the very least 2 illusions, and these ludicrous Lunas doing whatever they possibly can. Paxa now also trying to make sure nobody wants to be around for the Eclipse. Does burn your eyes as far as I know, and now nice little Death Prophet seeing whatever she can do, pops the Exorcism. However, you do have Mirana getting picked off, can't do too much, and Masquerade just standing around trying to make sure that as much damage getting eaten up by that Blade Mail as humanly possible. And I mean, they get a lane of racks, they can just fall back, do whatever they can, let Shadow Fiend more likely than not go for that Scotty. As soon as he does, he's going to be quite difficult to deal with, and they can just take this Roche. You have Sequin now, he has smoked up along with Toto. No wall of replica, however, available to try and deal with this Roche, and because of that, I do not see this going well for them by any means. You really do need that wall to deal with stuff, and right now it just looks like they're going to feed these heroes to everybody. Duke does get an obnoxious little vacuum onto the high ground there, but now Storm actually caught out, does have his spike carapace, but getting silenced the whole time, and now, oh, these poor carries.
It's a 4-staff. It's all good. Nyx Assassin's here. And they're gonna come out in 3, 2, 1, boom. What? Oh, okay. I thought he was gonna force out the heroes, but
no, this is more efficient use.
Okay, interesting. Nonetheless, does the same thing. Yeah, I was expecting the Darkseer to go in slightly earlier. He's gone for the Ghost Scepter, but if he had a Blink Dagger, right, he could have just like blinked somewhere here and then vacuum all the heroes up there, and then like the Aegis would be stuck down there, giving them a chance to grab the Aegis. Just a chance, but it would have been a big play. Nonetheless, that was a pretty fun vacuum. I was waiting for the big vacuum though, to be honest. More than the wall. Wall would have been great, but the vacuum, more than anything, can just completely screw them up in terms of positioning.
Oh yeah, I agree. And I mean, Paxa now just trying to make sure that she gets that butterfly, trying as best she can to just continue farming, and she actually has it. Just needs to be sent to her right now. And while that's happened, Shadow Fiend's picked up his Scotty, and it just feels like, whew, this is going to be very hard and very difficult for them to actually deal with. Razy, though, getting that nice slow on that ult there, and now Paxa getting silenced, doesn't matter, has waited the entire time for that. There is a nice little Luna illusion, but Eclipse doing a huge amount of damage. Masquerade able to hook in, not quite able to finish anybody off. AA finding a Death Prophet with that ult very nicely amongst the fray, and with that Death Prophet being down, I mean, not too sure what they can really do to stop this push now. You do have Toto available, but Wall has been used. Sequin can always stun, but now SF, oh my god, the slows and damage coming out of this man right now, and that's got to be the GG, and there it is, everybody. So with that, looks like Mongols gonna be they're going to the finals, baby.
Yeah, so we have the first finalist coming out. So that's the end of the first best of 3 for the night, and yeah, stay around.
Stay around.
Don't go anywhere.
Don't go anywhere. I think, well, I mean, you might want to go somewhere, get a little bit of a snack, because I think the next best of 3, the next semifinals, is in about an hour or so. So wait around, see if you don't want to come back. Obviously, go make some bets on Dota 2 Lounge, and I'm gonna go deal with that huge problem I just mentioned. So thank you everybody for tuning in. I've been Briefcase along with the lovely Mito, bringing you your ESPL weekly series number 4.
Hey Brief, you might be needing your briefcase. Pack up your things and get going.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes.